Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib. I'm Charlie Hannema alongside the head coach of the #1 Broken Arrow Tigers, David Alexander. Coach, coming off a bye week.
Right.
Nice to get a little rest for the guys, for the coaches. What's the mood like now with #2 Jenks coming in here Friday night?
Well, the bye weeks are great. You know, it took us a little time to get used to it, a couple of years to get used to it, but we've got a pretty good plan now that we've stuck with for a couple of years. We work them really hard on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we try to run them like they're playing in a football game on Friday without really hitting anybody. But you ask about the mood for getting ready for Jenks. It's obviously great, right? We've worked extremely hard. We've seen some success in the non-district schedule, and now here we are. It's district time, and all right, the first district game right out of the bat is Jenks Trojans. So the mood is pretty good. Practice.
What do you focus on this week when you're trying to clean things up? I mean, you come off a start where you're 3-0, right, and you know, we'll get into that a little bit more in detail, but a dominant win over Owasso. So where do you focus?
Well, the bye week practices, we focus on ourselves and correcting mistakes. And then this week we get back into, okay, hopefully we've covered enough of the fundamentals, and it's game plan week, just like it was, you know, after we played Union for Mansfield for Owasso. So, you know, we're in that 7-day life cycle, and it's all full-time, 100% Jenks right now. Preparing for their personnel and their schemes.
What do you see from them?
You know, a typical Jenks team, very well coached, very sound in all their schemes. Nothing very exotic. You know, when Jenks is on defense, you're going to see a lot of zone coverage. They're going to give you the 3-yard pass, and they're going to give you, if you can complete it, the 35 or 40-yard throw. They're going to take away all the mid-range stuff. And that's kind of been their MO, and they figure if you can throw it 3 yards and march down the field for 80, then hey, congratulations. Or if you can complete a low percentage pass, something down the field, then they'll worry about that later.
Always a great game, Broken Arrow and Jenks. You can get tickets in advance Wednesday and Thursday at the athletic office there, entrance right off County Line, or you can get them online through GoFan. You can find all those details at batigersports.com. You look back at the non-district schedule, and man, you know, some teams have kind of you think about the college mindset. You kind of have some ways to ease into the season, and you guys have just jumped right in. And what kind of stands out at you when you look back at the 3 non-district games kind of as a whole?
Yeah, well, you know, when I got here, we changed what we wanted to do non-district wise. We wanted to prepare ourselves and find out where our weaknesses were, but. You know, this year was, boy, especially a grind, right? You're playing, obviously, Union and Owasso, state championship teams, and then the Mansfield, Texas team, a very well-coached team, a team that went 4 rounds deep in the Texas 6A playoffs last year. You know, very physical football games, very physical. We were very lucky to come out of those games healthy. Now, we were bumped and bruised, had some bumps and bruises, and we sure were glad to have that bye week to get those healed up. But for the most part, we came out healthy, and going into district play, we've got all our starters back.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah. And
so many things can happen when you just had this physical game of football, and to look at the injury report and say there's really nobody on here.
Right, nobody on there, you know, except for a few bumps and bruises. Nothing that'll going to keep anybody out from playing on Friday night. So very lucky to get out of those games, Union, Mansfield, and Owasso, in the shape we're in.
#1 Broken Arrow, #2 Jenks, Friday night at Tiger Field at Memorial Stadium. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll dive more into that non-district schedule, look back game by game. Plus, Executive Director of Athletics Steve Dunn joins us in a little while. This is Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib.
My dad's always saying a little extra effort now will really pay off later. Here's how you can put in just a little extra effort and help out our schools in a big way. Just switch your checking account to TTCU. It's easy. You get $150 just for switching. And every time you use your school pride card, TTCU donates to our schools. So far, over $1 million. They're the only ones doing that. So make the switch to TTCU and be the person who's making a difference for our schools.
The Tigers of 1929 tied for the Oil Valley Conference lead with rival Bixby Spartans. Broken Arrow's only loss coming at the hands of the Spartans, who finished their schedule with 2 ties and no losses. Apparently, Bixby wanted no more of our Tigers that year, as they refused a challenge from Broken Arrow after the season to play off the tie. This great moment in Tiger history is brought to you by First National Bank of Broken Arrow, a loyal fan of our community for over 100 years. First National Bank of Broken Arrow, the right balance.
Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib, is brought to you in part by TTCU Federal Credit Union, First National Bank of Broken Arrow, St. John Broken Arrow, Tulsa Bone and Joint, the Arrow Group, and Matthews Ford. Thank you for your support of Tiger Football and Broken Arrow Public Schools. Back here with Coach Alexander on Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. And part of the bye week, I know this has kind of been a new tradition for you guys. Right. You get to go out and send your varsity guys to visit the youth Tigers, and I know that's always fun for your kids.
Charlie, thanks for bringing it up. Yes, we really, really enjoy it. We started it 4 years ago, and during the bye week, instead of having a team dinner on Thursday night, we load up on some buses and go to the BAYFA youth football practices. We took up 115 kids this year, and it's so much fun. I think our kids enjoy it more than the BAYFA kids and coaches do. All our kids, all of our varsity football players played youth football, right? And so they remember coming to the Friday night football games and seeing at that time whoever the Noah Cortezes were and the Matt Kaisers and the D'Amico Rowlands. But inside a helmet, it's hard to get a face. So we put their jerseys on, take them out there so the kids can see what Noah looks like, right? Who D'Amico really is. And we play catch and pat kids on the helmet, and we all migrate around to practices. It's really been great for our kids and our coaches, and I think the BAYFA is really looking forward to it each year too.
And you look back at some of the video each year, and one of the things that always stands out to me is those kids, when they see just how big somebody like D'Amico is or Andrew Raym, they kind of look up at him and go, whoa, because you see them from the stands, and you can tell they're big dudes, but then when you have a third grader standing right next to them and they kind of get to look up and give them a high five.
It's fun. We had Sean and Greg, and some guys came out and take some pictures, and you see the looks on the faces of the young kids out there playing, looking at D'Amico, and he's 6'4", 290 pounds, and Andrew Raym's 6'4", 305, and Noah Cortez is 6 foot, 205 pounds. Just big guys that have been in the weight room, and now these young guys can look at Noah and those guys and say, man, I want to be that. One of these days, I'm going to be out there on Tiger Field doing what these guys are doing.
It's unbelievable. It's a great opportunity for the youth kids, and I know for your guys as well.
It is.
Let's look back kind of game by game now a little bit. We start with the season opener with Union, a 33-10 win. And what stood out to me, of course, the second half, just how physical you guys were in the second half of that ball game.
Yeah, it was a close ball game at half. As you expected, we expected it to be 12-10 right at the end of the game, and we were in great physical condition. You can thank Cody Ellett for that, our strength coach. It was hot. We had a few guys cramp, but boy, there in the fourth quarter, our conditioning, our physicality kind of showed, and we were able to pull away in the fourth quarter. It was really fun ending the football game.
Where does that Noah Cortez run that put that game on ice into the jungle compare? When you think back to your favorite plays as a Broken Arrow head coach, that has to be up there, right?
Yeah, it's way up there. It's not only because what it meant at the time. We were willing to kind of take a knee, kind of run a couple more plays and take a knee, and they called timeout. As any good team would, they want to try to win. So hey, they want to call timeout. We're going to run it. We're going to hand to our best guy, and him going into the jungle. The video we have coming from 3 different angles, and the kids in the jungle going nuts, and what it meant, because especially a kid like Noah, what he's done for our program, and man, that's going to be up there in the top plays ever for Broken Arrow.
Yeah, we talk about Noah, and he is third all-time in school rushing, 2,887 yards. He's just 1,007 yards behind Jamal Shaw. So you think back, 7 regular season games left, probably a couple playoff games left. That record is definitely in the sights.
Yeah, that's in his sights. And we have all the kids put down their personal goals and their team goals in our first team meeting on August 6th this year. Noah, one of his personal goals, I want to break the all-time rushing record, and that's a big number. I mean, we've been playing football here since 1904, and Jamal Shaw is one of the all-time greats at Broken Arrow, and for him to have an opportunity to break that record is a pretty amazing accomplishment.
Absolutely. He followed up the Union win with Mansfield, the border brawl, great crowd of Texas folks up here, and the defense kind of was the star of that one. Defense and special teams set the tone early.
Defense played fantastic. A team that was going to go challenge us running the football, getting big formations, and say, hey, here we come. We're going to run the ball right here. And defense stepped up big time. You know, the defense should have been rewarded with a shutout. You know, the offense gave Mansfield a really, really short field there in the second half. But defense and special teams, and if we'll win those two sides of the ball every week, our record's going to be all right.
So then a 28-6 win over Mansfield. You head on the road to Owasso, take on the defending state champs. Another great atmosphere up there, despite a little rain and mist. That place was packed and kind of went back and forth a little bit early, and then you guys just established dominance, really.
You know, again, right? You're playing against the defending state champions. You got a defending state champion quarterback, which was our biggest concern. Right, you got a coach up there whose resume speaks for itself, won championships everywhere, and you know, then the weather. We were worried about the weather all week. The weather forecast was for torrential rain. Now, we didn't get it. We got some pretty high winds, and it was back and forth because obviously they have a championship pedigree. But again, in the second half, our physicality and our speed to the football on defense kind of won the day, and again, it was a nice fourth quarter to kind of sit back and enjoy what we had done.
I think Noah's going to stand out from that game, but he kind of always does.
Yeah.
So Quintevin Cherry is one of those that jumps out at that game, just what he was able to do, the long and just the bruising touchdown runs that he had.
Yeah, I mean, the two touchdown runs were physical, and he's surprisingly quick, but you know, he also converted, I think, 2 or 3 other third downs into first downs in that second half that were just as big of plays. What stands out to me, being an ex-offensive lineman, right, and a run, you know, a guy that wants to run the football, was what we did there at the end of the game, right? We ended up, I think we chewed up the last 7 minutes and 51 seconds of that game on the football field, you know, not giving Owasso another opportunity to get the ball back. Our defense only had to defend 3 plays in the fourth quarter. That's an amazing statistic, and that was a cool way to finish a football.
Absolutely, and you look at the stats on your defense through the first 3 games, just 1.6 yards per rush allowed, and that's, I mean, an incredible number. The third down stats are impressive too, 27%, just 10 for 37 on those for opponents. Right. And then you look at individual guys like Gavin Potter, in his first year on defense, has 27.5 tackles, 7 tackles for loss through 3 games. I know you knew he had potential on defense, and I know you know about his athleticism, but you couldn't have expected this, right?
No, no, sir, not a chance. You know, we knew he was going to play hard. We knew, we see him in the weight room and running, and we knew what kind of athlete he is, as you mentioned. But to expect him to read a run play and diagnose it as quick as he has, and be in the backfield and get all those tackles for loss has been incredible. And again, he's just one of those guys. The ball just seems to find him, right? Fumble recoveries, he's got 4, I think, right? 1, a strip fumble, touchdown in the end zone, just against Mansfield. The man is making plays, and he's starting to get noticed. And if he just plays just a little bit like that the rest of the season, he's going to put together a year that's going to be hard to comprehend.
Absolutely. And Zach Marcaselli, of course, we kind of knew what we were getting from him. 23.5 tackles, 5 tackles for loss through the first 3 games. So just that linebacking core, taking the pressure off the back end and the defensive line too, knowing that those guys in the middle are so dominant.
They can run. Both Zach and Gavin can run so well. You know, Zach is still one of our fastest players. And against Owasso, now they ran toward Gavin. They knew what they were getting against Marcaselli, so they were going to try to test Gavin. Of course, they lost that battle. But Zach Marcaselli was so disciplined in his defense. He played so well. You know, that's why Gavin had such unbelievable statistics.
Offensively, you look at the stats as we kind of sort through, and you know, the passing game really hasn't been there, but it hasn't really needed to be. You know, 41 completions on the year so far, 283 passing yards, but when you're 3-0 and so dominant on the ground.
Well, you know, we will need the passing game, right? We will need it. The game plan going into Owasso was for, you know, to have 2.5 inches of rain between kickoff and the final whistle. And obviously we didn't get that. But then also the game dictated, you know, they got a little momentum in the third quarter, right there early in the third quarter. And so we were going to try to chew up clock, let the defense make some adjustments on the sidelines. And, no better way to chew up clock than to hand the ball off to Noah and let Q get some first downs. Then no better way to win a football game than doing that.
Absolutely. Time of possession averages, you guys have your opponents by 7.5 minutes a game. A lot of that was the fourth quarter to Wassail. I mean, you can dive into stats all day, but one that kind of jumps out to me too is 51% on third downs. And I know that's a big change from a year ago, and probably a big reason why we're sitting here 3-0 as opposed to how it was before.
Exactly right. And and third down conversions all come down to two things. One, proficiency in staying on the chains in first and second down, but two, execution, right? And so you're gonna give that to a couple groups, right? The offensive line executing, not letting anybody, no free runners into the backfield. So we're executing up front, and then of course you're handing it to a 206-pound tailback and a 220-pound quarterback, and you've got Matt Kaiser and Isaiah Keller outside. So you've got some pretty good dudes.
Yeah, it's been fun so far. You can feel the energy on campus here at the high school. You can feel it around town. There's excitement around Broken Arrow Tiger football, and it's only going to keep building.
It's fun, right? It's great, man. We wouldn't want it any other way. This is the best way to have it, right? Everybody excited about it, everybody asking questions, and everybody wanting to be a part of it.
Coach, thanks. We'll take a timeout. Executive Director of Athletics Steve Dunn joins me next. This is Broken Arrow Football.
My kids had just recovered from being sick, and I found myself sick. And it was time for me to get the care that I needed, and I didn't want to get the kids out of the house, so I used St. John On Demand.
St. John Clinic On Demand is our innovative 24/7 virtual care clinic. It's accessible from your phone, from a tablet, or from your computer anytime.
I registered for the appointment on my phone and visited with a provider and had a prescription called in for me all within an hour.
So the type of patient that would use this service is someone that has a minor illness. Angela's case is a perfect use of our services. We came to her in her time of need versus her having to come for us.
St. John On Demand is such a great alternative to loading the kids up, getting them to the doctor's office, waiting in the waiting room. So now I'm healthy, my kids are healthy, and I will definitely use St. John On Demand again.
My name is Abigail Bailey. I was at my yearly checkup when I was 12, and we went and got x-rays, and she diagnosed me with scoliosis and that we needed surgery as soon as possible.
Tulsa Bone and Joint was very compassionate. They took their time with us. They answered questions. He was very encouraging.
Dr. Clark helped me see that there is life after spinal fusion. Just because your spine is fused doesn't mean that you can't do what you love to do.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib, joined now by Steve Dunn, the Executive Director of Athletics at Broken Arrow Schools. And Steve, I know it's been a great fall for the football team, but it's been a great fall for a lot of programs at BA. Where would you like to start as we kind of go down the program wrap-up here?
It has been. It's been an exciting start to the fall sports season. It really always starts with the fast-pitch softball season, especially with the new OSSA rules that has a start time for all of our sports. Softball and volleyball really get started in that July 15th area, and while most of our students are still enjoying the summer, our softball girls are enjoying a hot turf, hot sun, and gearing up for a season. So yeah, softball, and they tend to always, Coach King and his staff, they get our athletic department off to the kind of a fast start in the fall sports season. So softball's doing fantastic right now. I think overall record of 25-3-2, had a couple of ties, which is a little bit different than what we experience here in Oklahoma, but out at Colorado, when they played in that tournament, they had 2 ties against 2 great softball teams, 1 pitcher going to Kentucky. So they're off to a good start, really competing at a high level, peaking at the right time, coming into what will be their regional and state tournament.
When they go out and they played in Colorado, those are elite teams. That's not just like, hey, let's take a vacation and go out to Colorado. Those are some of the best teams around, right?
They are, and Coach King has gone to that tournament for many years, and it's pretty strategic. And as I mentioned, I mean, typically they use the Colorado tournament as a catapult into the back half of their season. Going out there and not losing a game this year and playing really elite competition, I think it shows our girls that when they come back and they play at that level, that any game they can compete with anybody. And so, we're excited about Coach King and his staff, his program. The girls are playing well and peaking at the right time, like I said, going into regionals.
Let's talk volleyball now. I know Pink Out is coming up Thursday night here at the high school in the field house. That's always special, and I know there's a significance behind it this year.
Sure. So Terry Moose, we all know Mrs. Moose, works here at the high school on this campus and has been in the district for many years, you know, kind of in the fight of her life. And it's just a way for us to show her and her family that she's not in it by herself, that we're all kind of with her. And that's something that's pretty unique and special about Broken Arrow. And I experienced that myself with my family, is that when you're facing a giant, this community kind of wraps you up, links arms, and attack it together. So this Thursday, volleyball game, proceeds of t-shirt sales are going to go to the Moose family. And so, yeah, if you're not doing anything on a Thursday night, come out and support that event. As far as the team, they're doing a really nice job, really kind of on a streak right now. I think last night we defeated Bishop Kelly, which was our 5th win in a row, and we're now undefeated in conference play at 7-0. So at one point, I think we were the 2nd highest ranked East Side team in the state. And so again, going into regionals, peaking at the right time, playing good volleyball right now, excited for the girls and their pursuit of a state title.
And we'll wrap up with cheerleading, but cross country, I know had that Oneida Ridge meet, and that's always a popular thing. It's still kind of in its infancy, but what a course out there for our athletes to be able to run at. Absolutely. Out at Oneida Ridge Middle School, just some land that we own as a district, and we've kind of cleaned it up, and we've groomed it with a nice finishing mow. And the feedback that we get from the schools that come to the Broken Arrow Invitational is just so positive. It's a challenging course. It's one that's unique to Broken Arrow, and it's our home course, so we feel like we've got a pretty good advantage. But the boys were able to bring home the team title of that race, and our girls finished in the top 3. Most probably impressive on the girls' side, we have a freshman named Peyton Hinkle who broke the school record. So both programs, I know the boys won the Tahlequah Invitational as well. The girls have 2 top 3 finishes, so seeing really good things out of that program. And then cheer, you mentioned it, coming off of a weekend where they finished runner-up in the regional, going into this Saturday at 3 o'clock, we'll take the floor. And I know that gold is on our girls' minds and our guys. Coach Howe and her staff have put together an awesome routine. And so we're excited to see what Saturday holds. We have full confidence that our kids are going to go compete and leave everything on the mat. And we like, if we hit our routine, we like where we'll fall. That's the state competition Saturday. It's at Oral Roberts this year, right? Oral Roberts. We'll take the floor a little after 3 o'clock. I'd get there early. Make sure you get a good seat. It's going to be a really good show. All right, Steve Dunn, thanks for being here. Thanks for keeping us informed on all the fall sports going on here in Broken Arrow. We'll take a timeout on Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib. One final segment with Coach Alexander after this.
In the folded flag, we see the heavy price of freedom. Nearly 9 out of 10 dependents of America's fallen and disabled soldiers do not qualify for federal scholarship assistance. The Folds of Honor closes that gap, already providing over 10,000 scholarships. Join us in this noble mission. Donate today at foldsofhonor.org. This is your call to duty.
The 1982 Pride of Broken Arrow Marching Band had a spectacular and rewarding year. Led by Senior Drum Major Paul Gerder and Junior Drum Major Mindy Denton, the Pride and its members practiced relentlessly with the utmost determination and won the sweepstakes of the Midwest Championship in the Colorado Marching Band Competition, which was truly a great honor and led many to declare the Pride the grandest band in the land. This great moment in Tiger history is brought to you by First National Bank of Broken Arrow, a loyal fan of our community for over 100 years. First National Bank of Broken Arrow, the right balance.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib. Final segment with Coach Alexander, and we kind of look toward the rest of your schedule. Jenks obviously the big one Friday, but then at Norman, homecoming against Westmore, at Santa Fe, at UConn, at Edmond Memorial, and then back home against Enid. So there's a lot of traveling coming up for the Tigers.
A lot of traveling, a lot of West Side games. They're right there in a row, which is a little bit hectic. We try not to miss any class with our kids, so we'll get them right over here for 6th hour, hand them a sandwich and a bottle of water, and we'll get on a bus and get down there to play the football game. Our schedule's a little quirky, as you mentioned. All heavy home games early, a lot of away games late. But, it just is what it is, and you're going to have to play them sometime, so let's just go line them up and play them.
Absolutely, and we love Tiger fans making that trip down the Turnpike to support the team, but hey, if you can't make it, we get it. Work's busy and that kind of stuff. AeroVision will have you covered, or you can listen on 97.1 FM, The Animal. You look down the district standings, if you compare our district, 6A11, I guess, to 6A12. In the other district, Putnam City North is 3-0, and everybody else is 1-2 or worse. Right. So those non-district, those cross-district matchups, right, the strength seems to be on this side.
Well, there's no doubt. I think our district is quite a bit stronger. We're going to play Santa Fe will probably be undefeated when we play them. Yukon has a chance to be undefeated when we play them. Westmore, the homecoming game, they'll be 3-1. They're a really, really good football team. So we've got our work cut out for us, right? We obviously can't look past Jenks. 25 years of dominance or 30 years of dominance that they've had. So let's be ready to play Jenks, and then we'll take on the rest of the districts when we get to them.
Absolutely. A little less than a minute to go here on Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib. What's the key for Broken Arrow Friday night against Jenks?
Well, it's almost the same game plan defensively as it was against Owasso, right? We're going to have to try to contain Ian Corwin, the quarterback. He's a fantastic football player. He's a winner. He keeps his eyes down the field. He can make plays with his arms and his feet. So if we won't limit him. He's going to make plays. We've just got to contain him and make him march the football field. Then we're going to have to be able to run the football. They're going to play a zone coverage. We're going to have to run the football, make them commit to playing some man. If they'll come down and commit to playing some man football or man coverages, then Matt Kaiser's got to go win on the outside.
All right, Coach Alexander, thanks for the time as always. Good luck Friday night.
Appreciate it, Charlie. Thank you.
That's David Alexander. I'm Charlie Hannema. This has been Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib.